Welcome back to Finance in Focus. I'm Brady Hansman, and today we're discussing one of the most important geopolitical developments currently unfolding around the globe: the growing tensions surrounding the Strait of Hormuz, the ongoing negotiations between the United States and Iran, and what it could mean for the economy, energy prices, and the overall financial markets. If you've been seeing headlines about Iran, oil prices, President Trump, military threats, or the Strait of Hormuz, and wondering why investors care so much, this episode is for you. Let's talk about the basics. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most strategically important waterways in the entire world. Located between Iran and Oman, this narrow shipping route connects the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea. Roughly 20% of the world's oil and significant portion of global liquefied natural gas exports travel through this passage. When energy traders, governments, and investors hear about disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz, they immediately pay attention because it directly impacts global energy supplies. Earlier this year, the region experienced significant conflict resulting in disruptions to shipping traffic and dramatic reduction in tanker movement throughout the strait. Insurance costs surged, shipping routes changed, and global energy markets became increasingly volatile. Fast forward today, and the situation remains extremely fluid. Over the past week, the United States and Iran have been engaged in negotiations in Switzerland aimed at creating a longer-term framework for peace and stability in the region. Mediators from Qatar and Pakistan have been working to keep both sides at the negotiating table while discussions focus on shipping access, sanctions, regional conflicts, and Iran's nuclear program. However, tensions escalated significantly after renewed fighting involving Hezbollah and Lebanon, combined with concerns over whether both sides were honoring portions of recently signed Memorandum of Understanding. Iranian officials accused the United States and its allies of failing to uphold commitments, while U.S. officials argued that Iran's actions were creating instability in the region. One of the biggest developments came from when Iranian military leadership announced restrictions and closures affecting vessel traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, citing what they described as violations of previous agreements. The announcement immediately raised concerns throughout global energy markets because of the strait's importance to the worldwide oil transportation. At the same time, President Trump dramatically increased the pressure. According to multiple reports, Trump warned Iranian officials that any effort to permanently close the Strait of Hormuz could result in severe consequences. He also floated the possibility of the United States taking a much larger role in managing shipping access through the regions if negotiations failed. These comments reportedly contributed to a temporary breakdown in talks, with Iranian negotiators walking out before mediators were even eventually able to continue discussions behind the scenes. Now, here's what investors really need to understand. This situation isn't simply about politics, it's about energy. Whenever there is uncertainty surrounding the Strait of Hormuz, the market immediately begins asking one question: will oil supplies be disrupted? If traders believe less oil will reach global markets, oil prices generally move higher. If negotiations appear successful and shipping remains open, oil prices tend to stabilize or even decline. In fact, we have already seen oil markets react multiple times throughout this conflict based on changing expectations regarding the strait and future shipping activity. Recent progress in negotiations has helped ease some fears and push oil prices lower, but uncertainty still remains. And oil matters far beyond the gas pump. Higher oil prices can increase transportation cost, manufacturing cost, airline fuel cost, shipping expenses, and ultimately inflation. That's why central banks, governments, and investors all closely monitor developments in this region. Another important point is that despite these geopolitical tensions, U.S. stock markets have remained remarkably resilient. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ have continued trading near historic highs as investors focus on artificial intelligence, corporate earnings, and interest rate expectations rather than geopolitical risk. However, if oil prices were to experience a major sustained spike, markets could begin pricing in slower economic growth and renewed inflation concerns. Now, let's talk about where negotiations stand today. The good news is that talks have not completely collapsed. According to reports released today, US and Iranian negotiators have made what mediators describe as encouraging progress. Both sides have reportedly agreed to continue discussions, establish communication channels, and work toward maintaining commercial navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, while broader issues are negotiated. Now, that does not mean a final agreement has been reached. It simply means diplomacy remains active. And right now, that is probably the single most important factor investors should be watching. If diplomacy succeeds, markets may continue focusing on economic growth and earnings. If negotiations break down and military escalations resume, energy markets could become extremely volatile. The reality is that nobody knows exactly how this will play out, but what we do know is this. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the most important economic choke points on Earth. Global energy supplies depend on it. Governments around the world are watching it, markets are watching it, and investors should at least understand why. We'll continue monitoring developments and keep you updated as events unfold. Thanks for watching another episode of Finance in Focus.